Hello, good evening, and welcome to PM Express. Tonight, I have a special guest. He's been on my show many times, but when he was on my show in the past, he's been on it as a leader in the House, a significant player at that. He was the minority chief whip, and then, obviously, we know what happened. One evening, we woke up in the morning, after that evening when I was speaking to his former boss, the minority leader, we realized that he's no longer the minority chief whip. Since then, we haven't really had a conversation, but a lot has happened. In fact, since he ceased to be the minority chief whip, he also contested in the party's primary. I'm talking about the NDC's primary, and was a really tough one for him. Yeah, but in the end, he won it quite comfortably. But in the lead up to that particular contest, there was a lot of acrimony, and on the day itself, it was very controversial. He survived it all and came out swinging. He's my guest tonight, and I possibly want to believe it's his proper first sit-down conversation since he ceased to be minority chief whip and since he won the last primary in Asawase. He is the former minority chief whip, the NDC minority chief whip, and the member of parliament for Asawase in the Ashanti region. Muntaka Mubarak. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
You're welcome.
On PM Express, and great to have you. As I was introducing, we haven't sat down since you ceased to be minority leader and since you won. And I must confess, when I first entered today, I got lost a bit because I went to your old office, yes, and I was arguing with the leader that that's his office, and he says, no, that's my office.
2014, so for almost 9 years, that has been my office. So a lot of people do. They come looking for me and they forget that I'm no longer in leadership. Then they go straight to that was the leadership office. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm no longer in the office.
This is the first time you're occupying this one. This
well, the job station that we came into the job station there in 2014 when I was already a majority chief whip. So this is the first time.
So you've always had a leader's office?
Yes, I've always had a leader's office.
This is the first time you're having
a cubicle.
And I'm pretty sure you may not see it on television, but this is significantly smaller.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Than when I interviewed you in the last time. Yeah. But how are you? How are you? Surviving in the midst of this new?
No. I mean, that is how life is. I mean, if you are the type who has never gone down and come up before, you may find it difficult. But for those of us who have fallen and risen several times, you get used to it because. I mean, I always tell people, the very first day you get sworn in as a member of parliament, you should remember, that will be the last day you will be a member of parliament. So always have that at the back of your mind. And but the same, if you were appointed a minister and you are going to enter the office, just know that there will be a last day you will be walking out of the office. But the same way, I mean, the first day I got to be the chief whip, I knew there would be a day that I will no longer be the chief whip, except maybe the way it was done, but I mean, obviously you have to put all those things behind you. Life goes on. The most significant thing is that I try to represent my people in Asawase, which is the most important thing for me.
Have you fully come to terms with your new position as an ordinary member of parliament?
Yeah, sure.
Fully come to terms?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people view you around, I mean, especially someone like myself and Chairman Sabonsu. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is Chairman Sabonsu, the Speaker himself. That's one of the chairmen when I'm talking about the majority leader. The Speaker himself, Honorable Barbin, myself, seem to have been in the leadership the longest. So, I mean, from the car park all the way to your office, everybody keeps saluting you for a very long period of time. And all of a sudden, you wake up and you're ordinary, and the people forget and they continue to give you those courtesies. I mean, it's heartwarming. And believe me, I didn't know that we're also really carrying so much load until I ceased to be the chief whip. Now I'm a bit more relaxed. I mean, I don't have to be attending the early morning meetings, the late hour meetings, because you have to now plan the day. All this now is for others to do, and then you just follow. So, like I people say, everything has its strengths and weaknesses. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. And I can tell you, I rest more now. I spend more time with the family. I'm able to holiday a little longer and all that. Before, you just can't. But now I'm able to do a little more things. And it may be interesting to know now I've picked up teaching, and I'm doing.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, at UPSA, I'm teaching leadership. I mean, so I'm now getting the opportunity to share my experience with younger generation of our country. So for me, it's a new horizon, and you just take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. Just as you may see it as an adversary, but it comes with opportunity, and I'm taking full advantage of that.
You've really turned this around very quickly, to the point that you've now quickly already taken up a new role as a teacher.
Yeah.
Had you always planned for that to happen, or this was by chance and coincidence?
Let me admit, when I first came to this house, I mean, I was already having my masters and those things, and it was something that I started with GIMPA. But for a very short period of time as an adjunct lecturer, I didn't even get a class. When I was appointed, then we won the 2008 election. So I didn't get the opportunity to really serve in GIMPA. So I've always had this at the back of my mind that maybe one day when I'm done with this job, the best way to share your experiences is to be in the classroom, so that you share that with the younger generation of our country. So when this thing happened, and I have friends around, so I call and say, oh, I used to be very busy, very tight. So, you know, you wake up then, you have all the day to yourself. You don't know what to do with it. You are watching TV. If you are not in your constituency, then it's like you just spend most of the time watching TV. I said, no, you can't do that, because I know with all this huge experience, it is important that you try to share it. So graciously, UPSA offered me the opportunity. And for the past 3 months, I've been doing that, and I must say I'm really enjoying it, because you have seminars where you share your experiences, and you have a master class. I mean, these are mature students who are working, so you are talking about life experiences, you are talking about how things get done, how things get knocked down, and things like that. And believe me, it's such a wonderful thing, and I'm really enjoying doing that.
There was a lot of tension, I remember, when this change happened between, of course, yourselves, as in your group of leaders, and the party. Has all that been ironed out now?
Well, I mean, obviously, it will take a fool not to put some of this behind you, because you don't need any resolution. I mean, you just carry on, because you have to remember, when the tension was on, the Council of Elders came in, His Excellency the President, former President John Mahama steps in, and moved myself, Haruna, and Aveji, said, look, what is it? It is not a bona fide thing. It is just about the method. I mean, you've got the opportunity to serve. Remember, before you served, others were there. Now you've got the opportunity to serve. Yes, the method, everybody saw it to be cruel. I mean, it was like a coup d'etat. But that notwithstanding, you cannot carry on a fight unless you want to destroy the party that you have spent all your youthful aid in. So we'll put all those things behind us. And obviously, I mean, the new crop of leaders are individuals that were working with us. They were our subordinates, and I would call them, everybody would say they were virtually like my boys. I mean, remember the new leader was the ranking on finance, who was working very closely with me as chief whip. The chief whip was the ranking on roads, was working very closely with me. The deputy leader, new deputy leader, was also our ranking on trade. They were all working very closely with me. If these are persons that have helped us to succeed in one way or the other, if for whatever reason, by default, or whatever reason they now are serving into the new leadership, it is our responsibility to support them. I mean, despite all that, because believe me, I spent all my youthful age in this house, and I should be the last one to destroy the party or the legacy that we have set. So we have put those things behind us, and we are working with them, doing the best that we can to support them, to make sure that at least the caucus succeeds.
And then, coincidentally, shortly after you cease to be Majority Chief Whip, then comes the primary in your constituency that also threw up a significant challenge. It almost as if from your removal as Majority Chief Whip to the primaries, everything was stuck up against you. One, to get, of course, you lost your place as majority, and then possibly to lose your seat as well. Have you recovered from that, the primaries?
Obviously, because, I mean, you see, I have gone through primaries. I've contested 5 times, and this is the 6th time I'm making an attempt. And I've gone through primaries. This will be the 4th. So it is not new to me. It is only on 2 occasions that I didn't go for primaries. The first was when the voting was for everybody. And believe me, in my constituency, nobody would dare want to contest me if everybody is to vote, because they know what I've done by the grace of God to the constituency and how the constituency appreciate me. So anytime it's the delegate that you have these skirmishes. But believe me, in 2011 primaries, it's about the same. You had, remember, I'd gone to the ministry, I've had my challenges from the ministry, and then it was followed by the primaries in 2011. And there too, you had people putting their hands in and poking their nose there, but it wasn't as massive as this one. Once people don't wish you to have something and God gives you, why do you have to go back fighting? You let go. So that's my style. I mean, I'm putting all those things behind me because, believe me, I mean, it was very painful. I mean, you ask yourself, all this sacrifice, all this time and energy, the enthusiasm that you have put in, all the things that you have done, why will this happen to you? But it's happened, and by the grace of God, you survive it. Remember, others couldn't. I mean, very good MPs, I can bet you, by every measure and standard, could not survive it, and you have survived it. So why should you continue to carry that kind of weight? You let go and just look forward with what is ahead of you. Most importantly, we need to keep a caucus together. We need to be able to win as enough. We need to be able to win more seats in 2024. We need to even win the presidency itself in 2024. If this cannot be a more important focus, what else? I mean, it is not, if may God forbid, if I win as one saying we are remaining in opposition, what benefit does it brings to me? If I win as one say and then at the end of the day, our seats, the 137, comes back to 106, may God forbid, what is the essence? Because it will put us in a more difficult situation. So it is about, yes, winning as one said, but most importantly, we need to work together to be able to win more seats, to be able to win the presidency, so that we can keep the party stronger. Remember, leadership in the party is just a duration. You have this crop, definitely in 3-4 years, they'll be gone, another crop will come. So when things happen, you don't just take it against the party. Yeah, you may have your reservation. You will learn the lessons from them, but you have to keep looking forward and keep working hard, because at the end of the day, you don't know where the wind may blow you. The next time, you may realize you may have the opportunity to lead the whole party itself.
Yeah. Possibly even the president of the party,
yeah, sure,
of this country. We'll come to that. But remember when I spoke to you shortly after the primary, something you said that stuck with me, that because of what happened and all the interference in your constituency, sometimes it's difficult to forgive, you said. Have you forgiven now? Well,
sometimes I tell people that issue of forgiveness doesn't really come. What you need to do is to try to forget.
So, fair to say you haven't forgiven, but you've tried to forget.
No, I'm saying that you try to put it behind you. Because some of it, I must admit, they were done in a very clandestine way. So, one, some you are suspicious of, oh, it's Evans. It is not Evans. I get it. So, who do you demand apology from, and then who do you forgive? Others, yes, they came out openly and did what they had to do. Do you have to carry the burden of hating them, wanting to revenge? Where will that all take you? So the best is to just forget it and just move forward. Focus on the thing that unites us. And then see how we can get unity and be able to cross 2024 successfully. That's most important. Once you cross 2024, by the grace of God, we win the presidency, we have a very comfortable majority in parliament, all the other things will fall in line. In a political party such as NDC, which is so big, you can't have everybody to love you. You can't have everybody to hate you. So you make do with those who love you and tend to live with those who may not like you.
Safe to say you have forgotten, but not necessarily forgiven.
Obviously, you have to pick the lessons of them. Because you see, some people are fond of doing this again and again and again. I get it. And then they will rally around and say, oh, let bygone be bygone. And then they will do it again. So the lesson you have to pick is that this is the style of these guys. So you need to keep an eye on them. But for you to be able to focus into the future, you need to learn to forget. So that you forget about all the things that have happened. So that you release that energy of trying to carry all this burden. Use that energy in a positive way. And then, like I'm saying, we have a sin of what role can we play to ensure that we retain that seat? What role can we play to ensure that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is our flag bearer, wins the next election? all of us have a role. You can't play the role effectively if you have to keep all this luggage of pain and anguish about one individual or the other. You will not be able to play those roles very effectively. So you learn to just put them behind you and then focus onto the future.
So I like what you're saying. In other words, you put that behind you. You're focusing on the work ahead, winning the seat for Jachikwesi. That's the immediate one, and then 2024 also. But you can't say that for the people you know conspired against you, you have completely forgiving those.
No, what I have to do is to keep an eye on their actions and actions and inactions. Because, I mean, the one who wants you to fall in the morning, what do you mean? What makes you believe that the same person will not want you to fall in the afternoon? So you just keep an eye, but you cannot be carrying those luggages, as you move around, because that will be too much for you.
You've mentioned the by-election in Assin North. What's your role in it? Because you have tremendous experience in surviving. And you see a man who is embattled.
Yeah.
He is being battered on all fronts. What's your role in it? Have you had a conversation to sit with him?
Yeah, we've had.
You were the minority chief whip when his troubles started.
And we have discussed time and time again, and I've told him, some of the things that he and I discussed to get him mentally ready for all this. I can put.
Is he mentally?
Yeah, he is. Believe me, he is. And I show you, when I was the minority whip, I prepared him. I prepared him for today. And I'm sure the new leadership are continuing with him. And I can bet you, I am very confident that Jachikwesi is going to survive this.
He will?
He will, by the grace of God.
Survive what? The elections or the criminal case against him?
He will survive all. Look, between you and I a lot of things you don't need to put it on in the public. I have told him, Chief, you may end up in prison, but you will keep the seat.
How?
Yes. Kwame Nkrumah was, in prison when he first became a member of parliament. A lot of freedom fighters, a lot of people had gone to prison for wrong reasons, people for no wrong done, they survived it. And when these things were happening in the initial stage, he was, because this is somebody who had lived a very long time abroad. He's not a young man. So he's used to a system where system works. The system works to everybody. You could predict how things could happen. And then he comes into a system where you cannot predict anything. And it's like, initially, he gets almost depressed. So to prepare that person for him to get to where he is, believe me, if this thing, I can tell you in confidence, if this thing had happened, say, within the first 6 months of him becoming a member of parliament, maybe it will be a different thing. But it's happening at the time that he is really prepared mentally for it. And I can bet you heard him say that, look, if you want, get me a room in the court where I have to be sleeping in the court and attending the court, I will still win the. That's all we needed. But for him to be mentally tough and be ready to go through all the hell that he may be put through and still win the seat.
I just want to point out to you, when you make the point that he may even end up in prison but still keep the seat, that's constitutionally impossible.
That's possible.
Because once you're convicted of a crime, you cannot be a member of parliament.
No, it's not true. I was in this house when Dan Magarapi was incarcerated. We continue to believe that it was wrongly, he was wrongly incarcerated. And we continue to believe in that. We appealed. He kept his seat till he was pardoned. During President Kufuor, I was in this house. All what matters for us, next week Tuesday, Jachikwesi is going to keep the seat. They can do their worst. The worst they can do is to imprison him, right? He will still keep the seat. That seat will still not be in their hands. And you see, the sad thing, and I keep saying this, and this happens to both sides of the political divide. When we try to use political power to intimidate each other, it erodes the confidence in our democracy.
You think he's been intimidated?
Yes, because you see, Evans, each and every one of us cannot today.
This summer, go to the movies. Projected on the side of a mountain. Discover a new favorite restaurant. Your campsite. Find yourself when you lose your signal. Discover a new playlist. Mother Nature. Make your summer special at the Kia Summer Sales Event with a dependable Kia SUV or powerful sedan. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 7/5/23.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, bundle, that's a cute word. What? Read it again? Okay. When you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, you get round-the-clock protection. Oh, that's darn good. Because once my older sister Dottie, her basement flooded.
Get round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Discount COVID. But when it was happening, and it was so deadly, we didn't even know, there was no vaccine. We didn't know what was going to happen the next day. We saw dead bodies in Europe. We saw dead bodies in North America. Nobody could predict what was going to happen. And this was during the time that this gentleman put in his documentation to renounce his citizenship. You cannot tell me that that delay was genuine. You can't.
But the law is the law.
I'm saying that, yes.
You must not
Evans,
be a dual citizen. You cannot have allegiance to another country.
I agree.
The Supreme Court had interpreted
yes,
that.
And
it's black and white.
Yes, and I say yes. And I'm sorry to say, our laws in giving them meaning should reflect our reality. Because if this was someone who had put in his renunciation demand late, there's evidence that, look, you knew that the Electoral Commission will be filing in October, and you chose to put your renunciation 1st October. I mean, you are corporate, but you could see how long he has done that. But COVID had delayed it. And as at the day we're electing him, they had already gotten the certificate, which is in November, before the December election.
But the Supreme Court has settled.
Yeah, they've settled that. And you know, I'm always saying that in their settling, they should avert their mind to the reality of the time. We cannot say that the reality of the time was ordinary. So because it was all ordinary, you have to treat it ordinarily. It was a special dispensation that none of us had seen before. I mean, all of us who are living today, probably unless those who are very, very old, over 100 years. The last pandemic was over 100 years ago. You cannot say that that was not a very special situation. 2, avert your mind to the cost to the states in organizing a by-election. Look at the possible, look, I've heard there was an accident, some people have got injured, both parties, I mean, people have got injured. For me, in running a state, yes, the laws are there. We need to give true meaning to the laws, as the Supreme Court will always do. But when there's a special dispensation, you cannot discount that. And I thought that in this case, yes, the Supreme Court have done a settle, but they failed to consider the special situation that we found ourselves.
Back to his criminal trial, though. If once the Supreme Court had established that he actually, at the time that he was filling his form, did not have the renunciation certificate, and the state believes that he had lied, he had perjured himself, the state has every right to prosecute him.
No, because you see, have you looked at the form that we completed? I know you've never completed.
But that's why he's in the court of competent jurisdiction.
Something that you have
that place he can clear himself.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. The form, I have completed the form severally. There's a portion where the Electoral Commission will also say that they have gone through all what you have submitted, and they are satisfied that you meet the requirement. There's a letter where he wrote to notify the Electoral Commission. I'm going through this process. This is a letter to show that I have put in my renunciation. He didn't hide it from them. So who did he lie to?
Well, that's at the point that he was feeling he knew. And
he made it very known to the
allegiance on the
He made it known to the Electoral Commission. And they told him, oh, you can go ahead, because they also knew there was a special dispensation, which is the COVID, that was causing the delay. And he had been able to show them all the relevant documents to show that, look, I'm in the process. What do I do? And they advised that you can go ahead.
I mean, if that's...
So who did he lie to?
If it's...
So, yes, if you say that, as at the day that he filed, since he was still he hadn't gotten the denunciation certificate, he shouldn't be qualified. Well, that's one leg. But did he lie? He didn't, because he didn't hide any information for anybody.
If it's as simple as that, then you shouldn't worry at all about the criminal trial, because then he will be cleared.
Well, the reason why I should be worried about the criminal trial is simple. You and I have been here. The criminal trial started 2 years ago. Then you go, they were adjourned. You just go sometime, nothing is said, then it's adjourned. Then all of a sudden, now you come to court every day. You say, I shouldn't be worried about the criminal trial.
But that's good for him, because that will get him a speedy trial.
Why?
You know, we say justice delayed is justice denied. In this case, he's getting a speedy trial.
He
should be applauding.
Why was that not done a year ago? Why was that not done 6 months ago? Why was that not done 2 years ago? All of a sudden, 1 week to election, then you now find reasons to say that I want the trial to be every day. You see, there's this we call unlevel playing field. You are indirectly creating an uneven level playing field. You know the person has a contest in just a week, and you say that every single day of the week he should be.
But those things are distinct.
Yes, well,
he made a decision. The party made a decision to put him out, knowing that he had a case to answer in the court of confidential jurisdiction.
That's what you will say. That's what you say. But you and I know that a lot of things happen, sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, and that affects individual. And I keep saying that, well, I continue to have trust in the justice delivery system. Regardless of whatever is going to happen, one incident or two will not ask us to collect all the effort the justice delivery system is doing and say that all the justice delivery system is bad. Yes, sometimes you may have these political cases that come and it doesn't really go well. I mean, to the ordinary street. Because, you see, justice is not supposed to just be done. Remember, justice is not supposed to only be done for you and I who can read and write. Justice is supposed to be seen to be done. When you say justice is supposed to be seen to be done, you are talking about the ordinary person on the street. Now go to an ordinary person on the street and ask the person that, oh, this thing started 2 years ago, but all of a sudden they are demanding that every day this week, when there's by-election next week, he should be in court. And the ordinary person just said, there's something wrong with this.
But you said you have faith in the judicial system. Yes. So you have faith that in this case, the courts will do the right thing.
That is my hope and my prayer, that they will do the right thing. And I pray that the court does the right thing, because I believe he never lied to anybody. Because all the documentation he presented is there. And the letter commission that he told those information, he didn't even have a conversation. He wrote officially. He wrote officially to them, telling them that this is my predicament. I said, no, you can still go ahead. So all those evidence are there, and I'm very hopeful that the court will do justice.
I want to take a quick break. When I return, so why did the NDC decide to put Judge Kwesi up again, considering all the challenges that Muntaka Mubarak has enumerated he faces, and he says the state is all of a sudden finding that they have to expedite this? There's a suggestion in there that there's a plot to just frustrate him so he loses a seat. So why? Why isn't this one risk too much for Judge Kwesi and the NDC? And then I'm curious to know, in Parliament, this is a man who was all over in Parliament in terms of leadership work. So in Parliament, what does he do now in the House? Stay with me for that after this.
Whiskey. Wash it. All of a sudden, my voice I different. And when you saw a call, Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Chalet, honey near their frau. Black Rock whiskey is strong. Now so taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman, bring my friend one Black Rock whiskey.
Black Rock whiskey, blended with natural honey flavor.
Hey, what's up?
Barman.
Hey, what the hell for Sikanton Sata? If you've been to a man, no. Me the Black Rock Whiskey. Femi, the feel is smoothness, no. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Own your luxury. What if you could enjoy ultra luxury in the environs of Sakumono? What if you could have a share of affluence all to yourself? Step into our 5-bedroom executive Ohima suite or our 4-bedroom Oyster Asantua space or our 4-bedroom plush Kukwa unit and discover a whole world of possibilities. It's not just a building, it's a promise of a dream come true. Cherry Tree Properties. We develop spaces as though we were going to occupy them ourselves. Reach us on 0553 662 366 or 0544 299.
We've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
On air. And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
For crystal clear and thrilling podcasts and live shows, download and listen to us on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, MyJoy Online, Amazon services like Echo, Amazon Music, and Audible, Stitcher, Adom Online, Overcast, and Pandora. Take note of everything. Sign up for the multimedia digital platforms now to stay updated.
Thank you for staying with us here on PM Express. My guest is still Muntaka Mubarak. He was the former Minority Chief Whip. Now he is an honorary member of Parliament for Asawase. And he says he has settled into this new role now. And we were just before the break talking about Asan North.
Yeah.
You have enumerated the challenges that clearly your colleague faces. Now he's no longer a member of Parliament. His name has been expunged completely. That's a whole different conversation we'll have. Yeah. But in considering all the things you've said, why did you still settle on him?
And why will
Too much of a risk. He possibly may win. He may find himself back in jail. Then you have to now struggle to keep him in that seat and possibly open yourself for another by-elections.
Well, let me say this. Why will we not keep him?
Because he has too much trouble.
How fair will we be to him? You see, there's this worrying thing in our political arena where we tend to forget about our values and our beliefs, even our norms. How will someone go through all this pain? Then you come and tell him that, oh yeah, you see, because of the 50-50 situation, we don't want to be our candidate. That would be too unfair to him.
Did he want to stand again, or the party convinced him to?
I can bet you that.
I read the statement and I got a sense that he was tired. He just wanted to just let go.
I can bet you, that's why I was telling you that it's not all the thing that he and I have had when I was the whip and prepare him for today. I can't put all of that in the public. But I kept telling him, you will have to be part of the history of this country. Believe me, he's going to win the seat by the grace of God. No matter what's going to happen to him, one day it will be a source of reference. And I prepared that, look, what is the essence of living, Evans? If today there's something that you, Evans, will do, but it will cost you your death, but it will get you remembered forever in this country, I want to believe that you do it. Because, I mean, food is no longer an issue for you, right? Shelter is no longer an issue for you. Probably how to fend for you and your family is no longer an issue for you. What is an issue for you will be legacy. Why will Christian not contest? He will have abandoned his people.
Was he forced?
No. He was prepared to contest.
Who prepared him?
We did. And I remember because, see, in the
so
initial,
he needed your help to get rid.
Yes, in the initial stage, he was frustrated. He was getting frustrated. That what kind of system is this? So you need to prepare him. Look, you go through it, and these are the likely consequences. And believe me, I really wish after the by-election, by the grace of God, he wins. You have a one-on-one with him like we are doing. And I pray that he remembers he and I, our conversation in the very early stages when I was preparing him. I gave him all these options. This is likely to happen. That is likely to happen. That is likely to happen. If this happens, my brother, this is what I expect you to do. If that happens, this is what I expect you to do. If this happens, and for me, all of them are playing. So if he took notes, he will simply be referring to his notes and say, oh, Hara Montega said it. This is going to happen, and when it does, this is what I'm going to be doing. And he's doing exactly what I coach him to be able to do. And I want to believe, I mean, our lawyers like the like of Chachu and others have prepared him also for today. So he's mentally tough. And the reason why we have to put him is that, look, we'll not be fair to him. This is somebody who has denounced his citizenship just to come and serve his people. And the people have shown gratitude in what he has done and have elected him to represent them. Now, the system, the justice system says, no, as at the time that you were doing that, this is that is that. So we don't think that that election was fair. So go through it again. And he's ready to go through it. And we will say, oh, no, you see, we are just thinking about our party. We are just thinking about our fortune. So let's forget about how you, your family, all the sacrifices that you have made. Let's put all that into a dustbin, and all we care about is our party, NDC. I don't think that would be fair. So it is in line with our own norms and values that, look, we should be fair and candid to each and every one of our members. And this is exactly what we are doing. That's why all of us, we even refused to open the place for primaries. It was all part of the, I remember I was in the political committee meeting where we took those decisions. That, look, if it comes to the crunch and Supreme Court declares the seat as they did, and I can tell you, this was about a year ago when we took that decision, that if that happened and he's interested, we will let him go without anybody even contesting him in the primary.
So which is what has happened?
Which is what has happened. So I can bet you, we did not just sit and all the things that's happening happen. We have planned them well ahead, we prepared them well ahead, and we want to believe that his constituents will show gratitude in the amount of sacrifice that he and his family have put in trying to serve them. And all the, literally, for lack of a better word, the torture that he has gone, mental torture that he's gone through, they will reward him by electing him again to prove to we the political actors that, look, it is not always right that you just try to use legalities just to disadvantage someone.
There's an aspect of it has played out in Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament, of course, was as a leader of the institution, was ordered by the Supreme Court to expunge his name from the records, which means that it's as if he was never here.
Yeah.
The Speaker battled with this when you resumed last week. At one point, as his name should be in the record, and then he sort of did a flip-flop on that subsequently. That has been an issue. I think he's been resolved now, so his name has been expunged. What was your position on that?
I find that to be very unfortunate.
Which, with the expansion, the direction,
yes,
or
the direction by the Supreme Court. You see, I'm not a lawyer, but with a greater respect, I have common sense. as at the time that the issue was running to the court, what was his status?
He was a member of parliament.
So if the law comes down and says that, oh, what happened, there's an error, why are you talking about expunging his name into
because the act he committed before he became a member of parliament, and that commission of the crime preceded his filing. So it's as if he had been terminated before he went in, because the constitution barred him in the first place.
No, because as at the time that he became, you said he was a member of parliament.
At the time that the court process was
then
going
it
on.
became an issue. Now you've gone to rule that, look, as at the time, once your renunciation certificate was not out,
you shouldn't have contested.
You shouldn't have contested.
Yes, that's why.
For me, so that ruling is fine. But to go ahead to say the records should be expunged from, his name should be expunged from the records of the House, for me, was like going too far. Because you see, it is the more reason why we must allow question to contest, and by the grace of God, win to correct the wrong. Because you see, you cannot say that the election of 2020 in Asinov didn't happen. You are only saying that, oh, it happened on the wrong footing. But you can't say that it didn't happen.
That's why it's been done again.
Yeah, that's why it's been done again.
Doing the
So, but to say that all that records should be expunged, it's like it never existed. It did exist. You're only saying that, no, let's correct it because it existed on the wrong footing.
Yes.
But to make it look as if it never happened, for me, it was very wrong. Because remember, if you say expand from the record, in fact, it is not possible.
Well, the speaker disagrees with you. I mean, first he thought it was but now he's come around to accept that it's been done.
That's why I'm expressing my personal view. I've been in this house for long, and I can tell you, you go into our official records, which maybe Joy FM is keeping official records. Are you going to expand his name from that record?
Well, now we can't even say he's a former member of parliament anymore.
No, but when you take the official records of parliament, you find his name there.
The hands that
will have his name. The vote and proceedings will have his name.
But when you see
maybe
it,
you might have asked some questions. Yeah. All those are
when
there.
You see it, you will treat it as if he never was there. He never did it.
When you see that, how are you going to read it? You read it.
It doesn't exist.
Exactly. So you see the challenge I'm saying. So all of them will be saying these things. But I'm sorry to say, my common sense tells me that that's not possible, because I have them in my library, and his names are there, his statements, his questions that he has asked, probably all the other things that he has done is there. So when you say expound them, you are just taking the matter too far. It is not just an electronic system where you just say go and then you delete, because some of the records are all over the world. So for me, the ruling was sufficient. Allow the ruling to carry on so we get implemented. I mean, it's not like saying that, oh, because someone has been found guilty of, say, armed robbery, let's assume that he has never been a Ghanaian. I mean, when you go to the hospital that the person, they gave birth to the person, the name will be there, the school the person attended will be there. How do you say that all these things should be deleted? I thought that to be very bizarre.
Will you be in the constituency to help him campaign?
Sure.
Or you've been already?
No. Myself and the former leader and our colleagues, some of our colleagues, we are setting off tomorrow to Asinov, and we'll be there Thursday, Friday to support him, and probably throughout the weekend till Monday when the campaign ceases on Sunday. So we'll be there to support him, and many of our colleagues will be there to be polling agents. So we are telling the people of Asinov.
So you'll be MPs will be polling agents.
Yes. So
at the polling centers.
Yes. So we are 137, and the polling stations there are about 80 something. So we have more than enough MPs to serve us.
All the MPs are committed to do this.
We have, 137 of us. We are more than the polling stations. So yes, we have about 80 who will be there to serve.
I see. But you're taking this very seriously.
Yeah, we are, because you see, it is not just about
MPs on the ground. But this is a Tuesday. Parliament will be in session.
Well, all of us will take leave of absence to be there.
All 136 of you.
This is very, very important for us. No, I'm not talking about all the 137, because the leadership will be there. The leadership of Parliament will have our leadership will have to take that decision. But I can tell you that a chunk of us will be there to serve. And for us, the people of Asinov, this is a big opportunity for you to redeem yourself, to prove to the world that you are also equally against injustice. I think that this is an unjust situation that is being meted out to our colleague, and this is the time that you need to support him more than ever before, just to prove to all of us that, yes, the powers that may want to do anything, but you, the ordinary citizens of Asinov, you have the mandate. You have to decide who leads you. And you have chosen Kwesi. It's not 4 years. And they are bringing him back to you again. Elect him. If they do any other thing, which I believe he will keep this seat by the grace of God till the end of this tenure. If any other thing in a worst case scenario, we will come again. We will come again.
I mean,
yes.
When you say you come again, you're showing solidarity. You're going there to help. But many of your constituents will be happy that you're leaving your parliamentary job, for which reason they voted for you in the first place, to go and do polling stations.
They will purely understand that there comes a time where solidarity will have to demand that you leave one duty to carry out another. And I want to believe the constituents of Aswan, my constituents in Aswan will be very happy to see me there supporting.
You sure about
it? Yeah, definitely.
But that's not why they voted for you.
No, they voted for me to make sure that, I'm fair and candid to all manner of Ghanaian. And in being fair and candid to Kwesi, I need to be there to support him. And I'm sure they'll be very happy with that.
On the matter of elections, there's one of the most controversial subjects that is still pending, which is the CI that will make the Ghana card the sole document for voter registration. The EC, I know, last week has been in the House, or the week before, trying to push it through. And I spoke to the Director of Elections, who says they are still committed to pushing through that CI that will make the Ghana card the sole identity document. But I also remember before you went for the break the last time, there was some consensus that the reworking of the CI that would include the guarantor system. Where are we on that process? Because you started this fight before you exited as a minority chief. Where are we on this?
Well, the way the House works is that until something is on the floor, you cannot sit and tell you this is what is there. We are hearing all manner of...
Chairman Sabunsu told me last week, categorically in an interview, that consensus reworking it was dependent on a number of factors, and so it's subject to review now.
And you see, this is what I keep saying, is that our colleagues in the majority should be very careful. You see, it is one of the things that they have done that have made this parliament, for lack of better word, very inefficient. And I'm sorry to say, if we are not careful, this parliament may go down as the most inefficient parliament that we've had because of this kind of behavior. Because when we had this 137, it requires that we all move away from our extreme positions into a middle ground where we try to build consensus, because that's the only way this house can then move. And we have tried, when we're in leadership, to do that a number of times. Yes, sometimes you get them reneging on their plate. And I can remember this was something that we started. The new leadership on the outside, the minority, concluded. And that, if I'm not mistaken, it's about the first consensus that they managed to build with them. If they renege on it and reintroduce the CI in the same form and manner that it was before, that would be big betrayal to the new leadership. And you see, when they do that, they put the new leadership in a more difficult situation.
But what's their consensus? Can you confirm it? We saw the document.
You remember that?
How did that come about?
Yeah, you remember that there was this taxes that they badly needed. Yeah. And we were bent on saying that before our dead body, if you want, come and vote, defeat us. That's the only way you can have it. And that day, remember, one of our colleagues was sick, who ended up dying. The second was involved in an accident, so they were shot by two. So I mean, their back was to the wall, and they were forced to have this consensus. And those taxes were passed that day to enable them go for this IMF thing, among other things. Now, if they renege, they should not forget the situation that forced them to negotiate could happen again. It is not anybody's wish that any member falls sick or something happens, but because of the closeness of the numbers. And I keep telling people, it's not just about one. Like this fight we're having about Dr. Kwesi. May God forbid, may God forbid, may God forbid, may God perish the thought. Should they even win as enough? It's not going to make much difference. I mean, ask your correspondent in this house. There have been so many instances where they are struggling to even get 135, they don't. Sometimes they struggle to even have 130, they can't have. Because you have ministers who are traveling, MPs are human beings. We are not like metals, where everybody will be healthy, everybody will be around every day. And most of the time, because they are in government and they have so many ministers and there's so much trouble and other things, naturally, the more stressful side you have, the tendency that you could have 1 or 2, 3 who may be sick, who may be out of the country is higher. So when you don't consider this and then you build consensus, then you renege on them and then you come back again, you make it very difficult for you to govern. And I keep asking, what is it in this CI that the Electoral Commission is bent at all costs they must have?
Because they have a more credible document.
No, that is a lie. Because they told you and I that they wanted to do the new registration for 2020 because they wanted to be more credible. After they're spending so much resources to do the registration, they told you and I that it was a more credible document.
True.
Right? So what has changed?
No,
so use the same method that you use in getting...
that this time they want to implement the system where you have continuous registration. So they're going to have this big registration that they do every now and then.
We tell
and
you,
they want to use this
you see,
to kickstart.
You are sitting in an urban center. You and I are sitting there. So everything looks easy. In the rural areas, it doesn't really work out that way.
But before we wrap up, I'm interested. You talked about, how you settled out of Parliament. But in Parliament, what do you do now?
I don't know what the people was say.
I know, apart from that. So that's all you do now?
Yes. Because, I mean, I come to the house, I'm in the chamber, and I must admit, a number of times when things are happening and it gets stopped, we become more or less like consultants because then you have the current
leadership consult you?
Yeah, the current leadership every now and then when there are issues they want clarity, they try to talk, and we try to do the best that we can to support them.
You genuinely help them?
Yeah, why not? Because you see, I keep saying something. Aside the method that was used, what else? I mean, with the greatest respect, when Honorable Claude Zaboka was the leader, I was the chair of the health committee and supported him heavily to lead. When we became leader, when we came to serve in the leadership, you have Haruna Idisu as the leader then, and Honorable Claude Zaboka, former leader, is sitting there. Honorable Rashid Pelpo, former deputy leader, is there, and they were supporting us. What reason do we have not to support the current leaders? Apart from the method that was used.
So they've tapped into your expertise?
Obviously, every now and then, where there are issues they think that they need to talk about, they do. And we give them sincere advice that, look, in our view, and a number of times I have told them, well, if you say the party is telling you to do this, fine, that's your cup of tea. But if you listen to me in this chamber, I think that this is what you should do.
And they listen?
Advice is not mandatory. You advise the leaders, but whatever the action they take, whether they take your advice or they don't, the responsibility rests on them. And I must say, they've been doing it. And I want to believe both myself, I would say all of us, Abeji, Honorable Haruna, myself, have been giving them the best of advice that we can.
The next year will be a major elections. Are you firmly in the corner of JM and will be campaigning for him?
Why not? Because that's our flag bearer.
There was all these rumors that he may have had something to do with the troubles in your constituency.
Well, I mean,
and your removal as a...
Well, I mean, I will tell you, remember when this leadership crisis came, he settled it because after all the battle and this thing, he called the three of us to talk to us as his younger brothers. And we all let go. I can say we let go because of him. So if there's any role that is given us to play, why not? But obviously, with the exception of Eji, who is not contesting, both Honorable Haruna and I still have a constituency to battle with, even though we are hopeful that it is not going to be as serious as maybe the primaries. But where I live, where my constituency is the Lions Den, and I always tell people, every election is like a three-cycle election for me. You have the internal one to deal with, then you have the Electoral Commission to deal with, and then you have the main opposition to deal with. So for me, someone would say, oh, you contested, this is your seat. I said, this is my 18th. It's like every election is like a 3-round.
Talking about that, a bird whispered to me that they say, well, JM's best option going into next year when he's considering his running mate, we get somebody from the Ashanti region because MPP is going to go there. And some say your name, it will be perfect.
Well, the challenge JM will have is that, yes, I'm from Ashanti region, but nobody can discount the fact that I'm also associated with the North. Yes, my grandfather settled in the south. I'm more, Kumasi person than any other place. It's the place that I've lived. My father was buried there. My grandfather was buried there. I schooled there. Virtually everything. Even the people from the north think that I don't behave like a northerner, but that you can't discount that. And I can't imagine a pair of a typical northerner with maybe a second or third generation northerner in the south. That would be too difficult for.
Completely rule yourself out.
No, definitely. That would be out. Even if he's to do that gesture, I would advise that, because we must win the 2024. I would rather advise that maybe he picks, if it is truly Asante that he wants, I would rather prefer that he gets a purely Akan person.
If JM wins, he just has it one term.
Yeah.
Do you have presidential ambitions?
I've always told people, you see, you can't be a politician and say that, for me, the top notes, I never want to dream about it. But it's not something that I'm going to kill somebody to become.
But you dream to be a president?
Why not? Because I've been a politician. I believe that I've served very well. I have all the credentials that it takes. I have distinguished myself in the best that I can, and I want to believe that if the opportunity avails itself, why not? I will be a contender, and I will do that forcefully when the opportunity avails. But I'm not going to kill somebody or going to hurt somebody to do that. No, I'll do that when the opportunity avails itself.
And that is Muntaka Mubarak. Watch out for him when, after JM, he steps in to contest as a flag bearer of the NDC. Thank you very much. And all the best in the Asin North endeavor.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.